Hey there, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. Sun's out, guns out, as so often happens. Today I want to talk about the size of your concealed carry pistol. And I'm going to start down at this end with the LCP. It's just the first one I grabbed, compact pistol. There are even more compact pistols. There are 25 autos that are smaller than this. There are like a North American Arms mini revolver that would be smaller than this. But here's the point I want to make. So many people obsess about what is the right size for concealed carry. Is it this tiny little pocket pistol or even something smaller than this? Should we move up just a tiny bit to a Glock 42 or a 43? Or should we move up more to a 43X, a Smith & Wesson Shield? Here we have a Ruger EC9S, same size as an LC9. They're all basically the same. Should we move up from there to something like a Glock Model 48? Should we move up to a Glock Model 19 or maybe a full size like a Model 17? Over here I have, let's turn it that way, Model 22 Glock, a full size gun. There are a lot of people who will go out, especially when they're new to concealed carry, and they'll buy a full size gun and they'll say, hey, I'll just carry this. Police carry them all day, why can't I? And that's a good point. Soldiers carry full size pistols. Absolutely, you can carry this all day. You can do it in relative comfort. And if it's called upon to defend your life, this gives you a big advantage over a tiny little pocket pistol. And I think I've demonstrated that at the range somewhat. These bigger guns are easier to shoot. They're easier to shoot well. They hold more ammo. They're often more potent. They have some big advantages. But what so many people find when they try to carry a full-size pistol is, man, it's hard to conceal or it's uncomfortable to carry. Yes, police do it all day, every day, and so do some other people. Usually they're not worried about concealment, though. Your police detectives who maybe need to conceal their pistols, boy, they often choose something like a Glock Model 26, a much more compact pistol, or a Model 43X or something like that. They go to a much smaller gun, maybe something more along the lines of the EC9S here, roughly that size. Why do they do that? Because concealing this big pistol and doing it with any kind of comfort is a huge problem. Not saying it can't be done. It depends in part on what your wardrobe is like, what your build is like, where you live in the country. Are you living in a place where you can wear a lot of clothing all year, or do you live in Miami? You know, if you live in a place that's hot and humid, you probably don't want to wear a jacket all year. That's not going to work. But if you live in a place where you can wear a long flannel shirt all year, even maybe in the summer, or wear a vest or something to throw over this as a cover garment, yeah, you could probably conceal that without too much trouble. People will argue about what is the right size or the ideal size for a concealed carry pistol these days, and it may change next year. The SIG P365, the Springfield Hellcat, the Glock 43X, these seem to be some of the front runners. They strike a nice balance. I mean, they're all roughly the size of this EC9S. They strike a nice balance between having a full power cartridge, those are all 9mm Luger, but still being small, easy to carry, easy to conceal. And the missing component for a long time was, well, a gun that's small, but that still is easy to shoot with and hit with like a big gun. And a lot of people will say that those guns are easy to shoot like a full-size gun. Based on my experience, no, they're not, but they're close. They can give you a lot of the experience of shooting a full-size gun and a lot of the experience of carrying a very compact gun. And boy, that's a nice balance. Some of the gun companies now have found a nice way to strike a balance. But the bottom line is, you don't see a lot of police carrying those in their holsters because it's still easier to shoot a full-size pistol. So you have to strike a balance that works for you. You have to be honest regarding what your needs are, what you can conceal. My rule of thumb is this: you carry the biggest pistol that you can carry comfortably. The moment it becomes uncomfortable, you have a problem, because you'll always be tempted, and sooner or later you will give into that temptation. You'll be tempted to leave your pistol at home, and then you won't have it with you when you need it. It's got to be convenient enough to carry that you don't really mind carrying it. I have even been known, I'm going to tell on myself here, I don't know how much heat I'll catch for this, but I'll say it anyway. I've even been known to load a 10-round magazine in a larger pistol, a pistol that's made to hold 14, 15 rounds, whatever. I'll find some Band State or Band Era 10-round magazines and put those in, just so I'm carrying 3 or 4 fewer cartridges, because I notice the difference in weight at the end of the day. Just those couple of ounces can make the difference between, oh, it's not so bad, I don't mind, and oh, I hate this thing by the end of the day. I mean, I'm that close regarding how much weight I can tolerate. And I don't think I'll miss those 3 or 4 rounds, but I definitely notice the amount of weight, the difference in weight by the end of the day. And you have to figure out what you're willing to tolerate and what you can dress around. If this LCP is legitimately the biggest gun that you can conceal reliably, then that's probably your best choice, unless you have some need for something bigger. If I were somebody who were off the pavement a lot in bear country, well, I would just learn to deal with a full-size pistol, because the LCP is not much of a bear defense weapon. But I would, carry a 10 millimeter or something like that, and I would just figure it out. But for most two-legged threats, this LCP can be quite adequate if you shoot well. And if that's the biggest thing that you can carry and that you will carry consistently, then that's what you need to carry. If you can move up to the Glock 42 or 43, then do that. That's always better. Carry the biggest, most potent pistol that you are actually willing to carry consistently. Of course, another way you could go is have half a dozen pistols in all kinds of different sizes, and depending on how you're dressing for that season or that occasion, you just swap them out. Most people just aren't willing to do that. They aren't willing to cycle from one pistol to another. They're going to settle on 1 or 2, and what I've ended up doing is I've got a full-size pistol that I carry most of the time, and I have found a way to conceal it comfortably. But on the occasions when I can't conceal that, I'll carry something like an LCP or sometimes a Glock 42. I'll carry something closer to that size. And no, I don't feel like I'm armed nearly as well, but to my mind, it's good enough. I'm confident it'll get me through. It'll get me through any situation that I'm likely to encounter. And yes, when I'm off the pavement, I'm in bear country, I'm carrying a full-size pistol, and it's something, and it's in a cartridge a lot more potent than 9mm Luger. I can assure you of that. But most of the time, an LCP in your pocket, if you shoot it at all well, is going to suffice. It's going to be good enough. So I guess that's what I want to say. That's my rule of thumb when it comes to concealed carry. You carry the biggest pistol that you can carry comfortably, and don't sacrifice a lot of comfort for carry, because if you do that, eventually you're going to find that you leave that pistol at home. You'll succumb to the temptation. Clint Smith says that a carry pistol should be comforting and not comfortable. And there's something to be said for that, but ultimately we're lazy people and we will succumb to the temptation to be comfortable sooner or later. So be honest with yourself. If this is really the biggest gun that you can carry comfortably, then that's the one you should probably be carrying. This is the one I'd prefer to carry, but this is the one, if we're being honest, that most of us can carry and will carry in comfort. If you're a woman and you're carrying in a purse, or even a man carrying in a backpack or whatever, we can go to a very big pistol, but remember, that bag may not be on you when the emergency arises. Unless your pistol is on your person, I don't know that I'd be willing to count on it. This pistol in your pocket and this one in your bag could be a potent combination. And your plan might be always to reach for the full-size pistol, but if for some reason it's not available, here you've got 6 rounds of .380 that can get you through a very bad situation, maybe to fight your way back to the bigger gun if you need to. Guys, those are my thoughts on concealed carry and pistol size selection. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. As always, keep your powder dry.